Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be you saw what they wanted you to see. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So when I say they, I'm referring to the narcissist, and they showed you what they wanted you to see. Now, this goes all the way back in the beginning of the relationship up until the very ending of the relationship. Remember, when you met the narcissist, most likely you did not have the education on the narcissistic abusive cycle, so you didn't know that narcissism was prevalent on the planet. The narcissist that you met was probably wearing a mask, manipulating you, telling you A, B, and C, and actually doing X, Y, and Z, and trying to learn about you. They were doing their reconnaissance on you, trying to figure out what made you tick, etc. And they were showing you signs of potentially what could be if you were to enter a relationship with them, because they were on their best behavior. Remember, this was the mask. They were showing you what you thought they were. Now, keep in mind again, the narcissist, every relationship with these people, it always ends. It usually ends with a thud, a crash, and a bang. And I'm certain yours was no different, but back then you didn't know what you're learning right now, so this wasn't your fault. I want to illustrate that because many people are very difficult or hard on themselves, saying they should have known, they should have seen the signs, etc. You didn't know that these people were out there. And the narcissist back then, the beginning of the relationship, they were showing you what you wanted to see, and whatever they were showing you, it was to get you to fall into that relationship with them. So lo and behold, a couple days turns into weeks, and weeks turns into months, and now you're very close with the narcissist. What did they do? They would figure out everything that you shared with them about your past, your present, the things that you wanted to do in the future, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, your relationships, your financial status, where you lived, your schooling, etc. And they would be putting this away in their tiny little brain. They would be storing it away in a vault, tiny little vault that they have. And then slowly, once they had you where they wanted you, which means maybe you moved in with them, maybe you loaned them money, maybe you put a roof over their head, or you fell in love with them, or relocated, or started a job. Whatever you did, joined a community, this is when the narcissist knew that they had you. Now, this is a pivotal part of each and every narcissistic relationship. There is a turning point when you think that you are on equal ground with this person who turns out to be the narcissist, and they switch on a dime. This is when they begin to pull back. This is when they begin to devalue people. This is when they begin to keep people stuck in that narcissistic fog or the devaluation stage. And this is a very helpless place to be existing. It's a very daunting place to be finding yourself. And this is where you were for probably the length of that relationship. Most of the longest part of the relationship, you're probably in the devaluation stage. And this is when the narcissist was showing you not what you had seen in the beginning of that love bomb / euphoric stage. This is when they were showing you little cracks in the armor of actually who they were. This is when you experienced more and more gaslighting, more and more silent treatment, triangulation, my least favorite thing these people utilize. You were watching more and more verbal abuse. You were experiencing financial abuse and mirroring and projection and blame shifting and rage fits. Everything you experienced, and you didn't know what you were up against. You didn't have the definitions to compare them with your real life experience, but now you're learning the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you're coupling those with your real life experience, and that equals wisdom. But back then, the narcissist was showing you what they wanted you to see. So let's take triangulation for a moment. Let's say you were in the relationship with the narcissist. Let's say it was a romantic relationship. And let's say that you were at dinner, or you were at a location, some place where a restaurant. And well, what would the narcissist be doing? Many times they would be on their smartphone right in front of you, or maybe even sitting next to you, and they would be turning their shoulders, if you will, a little bit towards or away from you, so you couldn't quite see who they were communicating with on the phone, but you could see the screen of the phone, and you could see that they were communicating with someone who you had never heard of before, and they were probably of the same sex as you. And you would be saying, what's this? I mean, I've been in this romantic relationship with this person for months or years, and they're not even talking to me. They're talking to someone else, giggling and laughing right in front of me. And they turned their smartphone as if they wanted me to see who that was. Well, they did. They wanted you to see that they were talking with somebody. See, they were testing you and testing the temperature of the relationship during that encounter or that lunch at the restaurant, they wanted you to see who they were talking to. So this would throw a monkey wrench in the lunch, which would throw a monkey wrench into the day, the evening, the weekend, and now here you go again. Because you stood up for yourself, or you called them out or said something or questioned them, now they're going to give you the silent treatment. Or the car ride home, you would be verbally abused, or you would be told you're so insecure, you need to see a therapist, or what's your problem, go get help, I knew I shouldn't have entered a relationship with you. They'll say things like that. This is how, when you're in the relationship, you are silenced. The narcissist doesn't want you to have a voice. They want to do whatever they want with you. They expect you to tolerate their poor behavior, and they expect you to continue to work for the relationship. Now, when I say work for the relationship, I'm referring to you paying their way, providing things for them, being the sounding board, being the walking apology, doing anything you can to keep that relationship together, essentially being the glue of the relationship, while the narcissist was triangulating you and abusing you and doing all the things that they do. But you see, in the beginning of that relationship, remember, the love bomb / euphoric stage, you did not know what triangulation was, or the smear campaign, etc. And you thought that that person who turned out to be the narcissist was like-minded with you, and that they did have your best interest at heart, and they were genuine and authentic. You now know that that's not the case. The narcissist will go any which way the wind blows with anybody who appears in front of them to be the next new shiny object. And again, triangulation is not only my least favorite thing, but it's what these people are masters of doing. So using the restaurant analogy, did they show you the smartphone on purpose? They probably did. Let's take the smartphone again, a different example. Let's say the smartphone is right there. You were in the relationship with them and it was right there on the kitchen counter. Well, usually the smartphone would be attached to the narcissist's ear or attached to their hand, right? Because they love the smartphone more than they love anything other than themselves. But every once in a while, you would see the smartphone out on the kitchen counter or a table or something, and you would say, oh, I guess they left their phone here. Well, not so fast. Did they leave it on purpose, or did they actually forget it? Knowing what we know now, it's highly unlikely that the narcissist would leave their smartphone behind unless it was on purpose. You see, take a quick look at that. Maybe you were one of the people that took a peek at the phone of the narcissist when you were in the relationship with them. And if you were, I understand. You were in a challenging, debilitating relationship. You weren't being heard. You weren't being listened to. You weren't being respected. You were barely being tolerated for being you. So if you took a peek at the phone of somebody who turned out to be the narcissist when you were in the relationship, I can't fault you. I can't blame you. Most likely, that's the first and only time you ever looked at the smartphone of another individual. I know what it's like. But having said that, maybe you saw some things that you didn't expect to see. However, maybe the narcissist was expecting you to see those things, and they were trying to plant seeds, although they weren't even in the house or in the kitchen at that moment. Maybe they're out going for a bike ride, wink, wink, or a run, wink, wink, or doing something when they told you they would be somewhere else, when in fact they planted that seed the whole time. They wanted you to take a look at the smartphone. Think about what I'm sharing with you. There are so many layers upon layers upon layers in the narcissistic abusive cycle. This cycle just continues to go around and around, and what you once thought you knew, no longer do you know, because now you have to question everything. I mean everything about people's motives, about their words, their actions, etc. And at the top of the list is certainly the narcissist. So when the narcissist showed you what they wanted you to see, those are just two examples. Another one would be, let's say that you were going to your favorite restaurant. I know I'm using the restaurant example a few times, but let's say it was your turn to select a dinner restaurant. And let's say you were going to go to an Indian restaurant. Let's say you bought tickets a month ahead because it was a special occasion, a special event on a Saturday afternoon from 12 till 4. Well, the narcissist knew this. They knew that you bought the tickets for the restaurant sampling of the food and everything, and you were looking forward to it. Well, what would happen? You told them that they should be ready at 11:45, and 11:45 came and gone, and now it's 2:30, and the narcissist is nowhere to be found. Well, what were they doing? Who knows, but they weren't with you, and now you only have an hour and a half to go to that favorite restaurant. What does the narcissist do? They show up maybe 30 minutes later, so you only have a 1 hour window. You get to the restaurant, and they're on their smartphone working or not, or they're not paying attention to you, and they don't care about the restaurant because they know that that's what you want. But what do? They get there and they say, oh, we're late. It's such a bummer. We should have gotten here earlier. And then you turn to them and look at them and say, we knew about this for a month. We had tickets. It was marked on the calendar, and you were late. And then they would look at you again and blame you and say, What's wrong? I have to earn money. You're not the only person that works in the family. I have to pay bills too, you know. Well, why would they do that? Well, they're showing you that they don't care about you, your favorite food, being on time, or anything that matters to you. These things are littered all throughout the narcissistic relationship. They are mini discards, if you will. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Every single day you experience some kind of toxicity, whether it was directly or indirectly. Let's take a bill super quickly. Let's say that it was the phone bill. Let's say that you were paying the phone bill for the narcissist. Okay, well, as long as you're paying the bill, everything's hunky-dory and everything's peachy keen and it's puppies and rainbows. Well, let's say that you hit some hard times and you couldn't quite pay the bill for a month or two in a row because you had medical concerns or something. Well, then what would the narcissist do? They'd be saying, hey, I'm getting these alerts on my phone and they're telling me that my phone's going to get cut off. Are you going to pay it or what are you going to do? And you're looking at yourself in disbelief saying, I've been paying this for years and I always pay it. It always gets done. Why are you questioning me now? I've hit some hard times. You know that I've got medical concerns and I've got to take care of myself. And then they would say, yeah, I know, but your medical concerns, I mean, I need the phone because this is how I communicate with people. Can't you just pay those bills a little bit later? Yeah, these are real life examples of what the narcissist does. They're doing it right now. They've done it before and they'll do it in the future. You see, the narcissist is self-serving. They care about only themselves and what people do for them. That's why each and every narcissistic relationship, through the eyes of the narcissist, is looked at as an opportunity. How can somebody elevate them to the next plateau? How can they take as much from an unsuspecting person or a recycled source of supply and to get more and more from them? The narcissist only cares about what you do for them here and now. They don't care about what you did for them in the past. They certainly won't care about anything that you do for them in the future unless you don't do it. Understand what I'm sharing with you. So the narcissist, they will show you what they want you to see. Think about this one. Let's go fast forward to the ending of the relationship. Let's say it was a discard and you were discarded, and if you were, my heart goes out to you. Or if you ended it yourself, either way. Well, you probably by now have seen so much toxic behavior on the behalf of the narcissist, and you didn't know what narcissism was, and you were scratching your head saying, who behaves like this? It's almost as if they're behaving like a child. I don't get it. They're completely unstable. They can't have adult conversations. They're crying one minute, crocodile tears. They're pleading with me the next. The next minute, they're pressing on the gas pedal of abuse. I can't figure this out. Well, what's going on there is the narcissist couldn't maintain the mask. They had taken probably everything they could from you, or mostly everything they could from you, or you saw behind the mask, either way. And now they realize that the source of supply, which was you, is either about to be discarded or you're going to remove yourself from them, maybe even divorce the narcissist, which is for a whole different video. But when that happens, then the narcissist has no more reason to maintain the mask. This is when the mask officially slips and it crashes to the ground, and the narcissist shows you how little they care about you, how much disdain they have for you, how envious of you and jealous of you they are, and how they are so feeble-minded and weak-minded, but yet they controlled the relationship the whole time until they didn't. This is what the narcissist does. They are stuck in the narcissistic loop of misery and of manipulation, and they cannot escape it, and they know it. That's why they want to keep people tricked and trapped in the narcissistic fog, existing, working for them. And they show you little glimpses of this throughout the whole relationship. But again, when you were in the love bomb / euphoric stage, you did not trust your instincts or intuition, and you did not pay attention to red flags because you didn't have any reason to, because you didn't know narcissism was prevalent on the planet and that you would be entering a relationship with one of these people. You didn't have the education. Now, when you were in the relationship, it was too late because you were already too deep into the relationship. Maybe you relocated or loaned them money or had children with them or married them, etc. But you see, or went into business with them, that's when it was too late. You were already committed. And they knew when you were committed, so they could pull back more and more and more and make you do more and more and more, while they would take more and more of the credit or of the rewards from the fruits of your labor. Then again, that's the devaluation stage. And then wow, that was a close call. And then the ending of the relationship is the discard, or the ending of it, whatever you want to call it. That's when the narcissist shows you who they really are. That's the person you need to remember. You don't need to remember all the great times that you had. Yeah, did you have good times? Of course you did. Did you have great times? Sure you did. But in between there was a plethora, a mountain of toxicity, a mountain of triangulation, of the smear campaign, of the silent treatment, of ghosting, of verbal, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial abuse. The narcissist knew what they were doing. They know exactly what they're doing now, and they know what they'll be doing in the future. They also know that each and every relationship they enter, it is not sustainable. Something will always give, something will always break, and something will always snap. And your relationship was no different. So think about what I'm mentioning to you. From the beginning of the relationship throughout the body, till the ending, they were showing you who they were and what they wanted to show you from the very beginning. Let me rephrase that. In the beginning, they weren't showing you who they were. They were showing you what you wanted to see. But throughout the relationship, they were showing you little pieces of who they were here and there. But they never quite came out and did this. In the beginning of that relationship, they never gave you the 2-page report and said, here's who I am. Here's what I will do. I don't love. I don't have any empathy. I don't care about anybody. I only care about what people do for me. Will you be the next walking apology? Will you be the next unpaid helper? Will you be the arm candy while I triangulate you? Will you be a person I can abuse? Will you be a person who will doubt yourself? Will you be a person who I can place in the narcissistic fog and keep my cup full while I destroy your life? But they didn't do that, because if they did, you would have run for the hills. That's why these relationships are the relationships you need to heal from. That's why these relationships are the most challenging relationships known to humankind. And that's why the narcissist did not show you anything other than what they wanted to show you from the beginning until they couldn't hold back any longer, till the very ending of that relationship. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And stay true, stay strong, continue on the path, keep moving forward each and every day, and believe in yourself as much as I believe in you, because you're an amazing human being. You've been to hell and back, but now you're here, and you're either in the third version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind, or you're working your way towards getting there. But please, no matter what you do, don't be communicating with these narcissistic people. If you can, block them. If not now, when? Realize that you've had a very, very challenging relationship, to say the least. That relationship almost took you down for the count, but it didn't. You need to really get your cup full, get strong, have boundaries, say no, the strongest word in the English language, and realize that not everybody has your best interest at heart. I love you all. God bless you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.